How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? There we go. Good. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming on Tuesday and joining us after practice instead of the traditional Thursday. And again, we kind of changed the week schedule with the spring game, but I thought it was important. A lot of things have been going on in the program. One, Student Appreciation Day last Saturday. Can't say enough about the students that showed up into the bubble on Saturday to support our players, interact in some of the stretching routines that we did and some of the drills that we did. We all know that the atmosphere that's created on game day is largely a part of the students' enthusiasm at the game, and we can't do enough to interact with them and make them feel like this is their football team. And we're hoping that becomes an annual spring event that people really want to be a part of. And it was a game-like atmosphere in the bubble Saturday, and our players really enjoyed it. And I thought it was a great first time doing it, and something that we'll continue to do and grow. And hopefully, again, a lot of people look forward to it. Secondly, spring game is this Saturday. Our players are anxiously awaiting spring game. We're hoping that the fans will show up and support this football team. This team has been through a lot in the last year, and in the last months I've been able to watch this team train, form bonds of trust with each other, do everything that we've asked them to do. They behave the right way. They go to class. And really excited about playing for each other. And the spring game, the atmosphere that is created on the spring game in that stadium, I think is really important for not only our players but for recruiting. We'll have a number of top recruits here from the state and this region. And as you guys know, that anytime they show up and there's a tremendous fan support and great environment that they can get excited about it, it helps in recruiting. And I think it's really important that our football team, the athletic department, the student body, and the fans all work together to help us create a great environment for not only our team but the recruits and wanting people to be a part of our program. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions and go from there.
Mix it up this week. Just an update on the quarterback competition.
Talked about Laviano being in the lead, and it kind of went back to even. I would say it's still probably even. I think right now with where we're at in spring and the way it's kind of gone back and forth with good days, bad days, it's a competition that's going to continue on through the summer and into training camp. It's not going to be something that will be settled here at the end of spring. Nobody has been playing consistently enough to say that they would be deserving the right to be named the starting quarterback here at Rutgers. I really like their work ethic. I like where they're at in terms of a competition standpoint. They show up every single day to compete. They're learning the offense. They're running the offense a lot better than probably any of us would have thought they would be at this point, but it's still not good enough. And they know that, and that competition will be an ongoing one for a while. Yeah, the game format will be this. It'll be a red and white team. The red will be the ones on offense and defense with selected threes versus the twos and fours on the white team. There will be certain guys that will rotate at certain positions, quarterback being one. All three of the quarterbacks will get a chance to take reps with the red offense, the one group, and then we'll go that way with it. I want a very clean day. I want a positive day for both offense, defensive units as the day is over. We'll probably spot the white team some points. Don't know what that spread will be yet, but we'll probably spot the white team some points, so we give the red team some incentive to go out and play hard and try to score points and make a game out of it. And I've been a part of spring games a lot of different ways, and with where we're at right now and the depth we have on this football team and the chemistry we're trying to get with our ones, that's the way we're going to lay it out.
Coach, this may be a silly question, but how much weight or significance are you putting on this spring game, leading up to summer workouts and training camp? Are you going to evaluate this, start naming starters after the spring game? How much weight are you putting on?
Quite a bit, to be honest with you. I mean, we're not going to run our full package of offense and defense, but it's going to be the first time a lot of these players have gone into that stadium and played. We have so many players on offense and defense that might not have ever taken a snap yet at their position. It's going to be the first time that they're in the stadium doing that in front of hopefully a good number of people. We got to see how they're going to respond. But every single day is an important evaluation day for us. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, every single one of them are important. This week we're going Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday is an important evaluation day. But at the end of it, we want to see how they respond in front of a crowd in the stadium when the lights are on Saturday night, and see how they handle it. But it'll be a little different type of an evaluation. But we talk about our culture, competitive spirit, and competitive excellence, and we want to see who's ready to make plays Saturday night.
Chris, you've seen spring games in the SEC and in Ohio State where you get 100,000 people. Why do you think it's an event some places, whereas some places it's not? And how do you make it an event like that here at Rutgers?
Well, some of it's just the history of places. Some people have been doing it for so long, and it's just kind of expected that there's really two seasons. There's the fall football season, and there's the spring football season. And that's not the culture everywhere. But it is at certain places. It's not something that just happened. It had to start at some point. It had to be built at some point. Right now, I think a lot of it is about competition. A lot of universities are competing to see who can have the best spring game attendance or best spring game environment, and that's what they're doing. And I'll be honest with you, I hope we can get into that race at some point. That we create a great spring day environment. We have an event that a lot of people look forward to coming to and watching. We have a football team that they have interest in not only in the fall but in the spring, and we have a passionate fan base that wants to be a part of it anytime there's an event that's open for them to come to. And that's really what we want to create, and that's what some people, they're at that level right now. Not everybody is.
Coach, when you talk about the quarterback situation being very close, very even, Chris pulls ahead and then very even again, when you get to preseason camp, if these guys are very even, do you pick one to stick with, or you look at who's best each week? What are you open to?
Yeah, we got to find out who's being the most consistent. We want them to be consistent every single day, and if we're not getting that we got to evaluate why. Do we got to coach it different? Do we got to ask them to do something different? Do they have to do something different? We got to evaluate why. But as we move forward, if they stay fairly even, there are going to be some criteria that we have to determine that will help us decide who's going to be the starting quarterback here in the fall. And
be one guy?
Ideally, yeah, that would be the ultimate goal. But again, if that's not what we get to, if Chris or Hayden or Gio, they all do certain things differently, or one does something better than the other, and it's situational quarterbacking, then we'll take a look at that. I'd prefer not to do that. We had to do it at Ohio State last year with Cardell Jones and J.T. Barrett based on situations, as the season unfolded. I'd like to avoid that, and I think we will avoid that, but we just right now it's still an open competition, and we need the guys to continue to fight and scratch and claw to be as good as they can be, and a lot of it's going to be who the other players trust too.
Chris, I know every coach does it a little differently. How much will you actually do on-field coaching yourself in the spring game, or will you hand it off to the coordinators?
I'll be honest with you, I'm coaching every day I go out there. Whether it's a spring game or a walkthrough, a practice, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to coach. I'll stand behind the offense and watch from behind. That's what I do every practice. And I pick and choose my moments to go coach someone on offense. Mostly it's defensive guys. I'm not. It's not my nature to be hands off and just let everybody else coach. I want it done a certain way, and I'm more involved with the defense right now. I'll make coaching points to certain offensive players. Spring game will be no different, but I'll stand behind the offense out on the field and be able to help manage the game the way that I want it to be managed. But I'm looking for certain things, and if there's an opportunity to coach on offense or defense, or we'll do some punts with our punt team, I'm going to do it.
And then obviously we saw you knighted a couple guys today. How much, if that means they're game ready, how much should the fans or us read into who getting knighted as far as maybe they're at the top of the depth chart at their position?
Right now, the depth chart doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. Right now, I would say, guys getting his black stripe removed and being knighted, he's demonstrated some of the core values that we want. He shows up every single day with enthusiasm. He's a grinder, works extremely hard. He's got a passion for excellence, and he tries to get better and be the best that he can be. And at the end, again, he's selfless, and he's working extremely hard, making the right decisions for the other guys in his unit. And the guys that have gotten that black stripe removed and been knighted demonstrate those core values right now every single day. Doesn't necessarily mean they're the one at their position on the depth chart yet, though. It just means they're going to help us in some capacity on game day.
Coach, how are you changing the culture here?
One, we clearly defined the type of culture that we want, and it's constant communication, education, and motivation to make the right decisions and build the type of habits that we want here. We're setting a certain set of standards, and we talk to the players about it's not the standards we set, it's the standards that we tolerate. And right now we're not tolerating anything but the high standards that we have set, and substandards are not tolerated. But it's just constant communication and education and motivation. And building the culture never ends. It's daily, it's hourly, and it's constant reinforcement of what we're doing. The other part of it is when a player doesn't demonstrate the habits or the work ethic that we want in our culture, they'll be called out. And on the flip side of it, players that do demonstrate and reinforce the culture that we want, they're going to be recognized and rewarded for it. Part of that's the Champions Club that we have that a lot of you guys heard about after quarter one. That's what a lot of that is. It's rewarding the guys for behaving and performing the way we want them to do it here in our culture here at Rutgers, and we're rewarding and recognizing those guys. No, it's socially, it's academically, and athletically.
Chris, the Ring of Honor drill, obviously pretty intense. Any concern about with all the violent collisions? Any concern about head injuries?
There's any time you put the helmet on in the game of football, and you go to combat with somebody, there's always concerns about that. But our number one thing here is player safety. We're never going to put a player in what we would consider an unsafe drill. Is there contact and collisions that happen in that drill? Yes, but they're very minimal. The distance between those contacts are very small. It's really like offense and defensive linemen every snap. You know, they go about that same distance and about the same type of contact every snap. So, again, player safety is number one. If I thought that was a drill that we were going to put our players in position to potentially get concussions, I would not do it at all, and been doing it for quite a while and have not had issues. But if that started to become an issue, we would end it right away.
Chris, do you have a spring game memory or moment, maybe in Fayetteville or Columbus, where you walked out and you saw the crowd and you said, all right, football's big here, or something that just sticks out?
Well, yeah. I mean, at Ohio State, let's be honest, you guys saw the attendance at the spring game they had last Saturday. 2 spring games I was a part of there, the attendance was off the charts, especially the one there in 2015 after we won the national championship. It was over 100,000. You walk out there, you're like, wow, this is a spring game. This is big time, and you know it's important to people, and they're very passionate. Again, just because they don't show up to the spring game doesn't mean that the football's not important to the fan base. They're not passionate about it. It just means that they really want to go out and watch, a good product, and that's really our job. We want to build a football team that people want to go watch, and they want to do it all year round. Anytime that it's an open opportunity to go, they go do it, and it's an event. And right now, some places have really cool events in the spring for the spring games, and the Big Ten, I think, is kind of leading the way with those events. The SEC and the Big Ten are I think, probably far and away above any other league in terms of the spring game attendance and the support by the fans for their teams. And again, I don't know what to expect Saturday. I hope it's a very good turnout, and I think it's we have a very passionate fan base. I think there are a lot of people that care about Rutgers football, and I'm hoping they show that support here in the spring like they will in the fall. Yep, thank you, guys.